How important is it that you and 400 of your Bosch army were in Vegas with John for the journey?
Well, first of all, Gareth Spencer, thanks for having me on. I didn't realise I was going to come on, so much obliged. It was great over in Las Vegas. Very humbled by the support that Johnny received all the way across the world, but also at home, people that supported at home. We know there was a lot of people having parties and watching on DAZN, and it's just great. It's truly, as a parent, it's truly humbling.
You can anchor him. He's worked for you in the past, delivering meats, delivering the cheeses. We've both been to your house for the Chinese, of course, Spencer and I. We know what you are intrinsically. You anchor him in many ways, don't you? If that's the right word.
Myself and my wife, yeah, we do. We anchor all of our family, but I'm being honest, and I don't normally talk like this. He's a good son. You couldn't ask for a better son. Sometimes he anchors me.
They tell you to calm down. Yeah?
He's a true gentleman, you know. and I say that without any tongue in cheek. It's an honour to call him a son and a friend because he has got his head screwed on.
He's had a few too many beers.
I've had no beers. I'm off the beer. I'm off the beer.
Yeah. Come on, let's keep it going. That's good.
He is a good young man, and he's a credit to himself, and he's a credit to myself and my wife.
Oh, he's absolutely a credit to you as his parents, Charlotte, your wife, and yourself. How emotional was it seeing his name up in lights at the Plaza Hotel in the Old Town, the mob town that you have now got a relationship with?
We've got a good relationship with Oscar Goodman, mob attorney to Spilotro, who was like made famous in Casino, and they think the world of him. They've looked after him and his team and myself and my wife, put his name up there in lights, put his picture. He's building relationships wherever he goes, and that's not me, that's not anybody else, that's Johnny, because when people meet him, they appreciate what he does, how he does it, and how he goes about his business. Listen, we're not saying he's going to be the best boxer that's ever lived, but he'll put his heart and soul into whatever he does, and people that get behind him know they're getting behind someone they can get behind.
Guys, this is a question really to both of you, actually, because Johnny, I know you know you're doing a fantastic job in the boxing ring. John, you're doing an unbelievable job outside of the boxing ring. You've created a real social media presence, which involves both of you, involves the whole family, actually.
We just said that,
and it's great stuff. But what I was going to ask is, because I know, John, you're there for every single fight, and you travel around. My old man was at mine, by the way, every amateur fight, every professional fight. Weirdly, apart from my last one, because he was in Vegas with the kids of Finchley ABC, because he used to train Finchley ABC. But what I was going to ask John, probably I'll fire this one to you, young John first, little John. Yeah. I can't believe it. I'm me, Spencer Oliver.
I'm little John. I'm little John.
How can I call you Little John?
I am Little John.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's like a comedy sketch, that one, isn't it?
No, it makes sense.
But anyway, what I wanted to ask you was, how weird would it be for you, because you've built this relationship now, how weird would it be for you if your dad can't make a fight one time? Will that affect you
psychological scaffolding?
Once I'm in the ring, the squared circle, it's just me and the other man. So I don't have to think about that. But I know, I'll find where my dad's sitting.
But superstition creeps in
there
with
is
a lot of people,
I've got superstitions. I always wear the same pair of Exeter rugby socks every time I fight. I always do my hands up a certain way. I do all that stuff. But when it comes to being in the ring, and you've been in there, all the outside stuff goes away. But it's good having my dad around in the camp, having him around there to lean bits of advice on. That's what I need him for. When I'm not sure, when I need a bit of advice,
and
I don't
not
know
only
what's
that,
right.
you know, a couple of days before a fight, we always have a big row.
Yeah.
Me and my wife with Johnny, we always have a row about something little.
Food.
Oh, really?
Food.
So he probably wants you to do one of that.
Could be anything. We'll have a row. I'm going.
Could be
but
tickets,
then the next day, bang, he's ready.
I suppose the question then goes over to you, John. How weird would it be for you if you weren't there for your son?
Well, there's a chance I could have missed this one.
It's just an interesting question. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
People
I know what you
wonder
mean.
what it's like, because you're that tight knit. I think I'm fascinated by it.
He was due to box originally in Florida at the end of the month on the Matchroom show in Florida, and I was due to be in Australia and New Zealand doing a tour. So it would have been tight, because I'd have had to travel back from that and let people down in Australia and New Zealand. I don't like doing that.
Thinking about looking at the question again, I think what's more important is the build up to the actual fight. So like the weeks in advance, being able to talk and have advice. That's the important
did pop
part.
out, didn't you?
Yeah, I popped out to help with camp. Get off the plane, no Wi-Fi on the plane. I thought no one's put anything on about him sparring Michael Hunter. Right. I thought no one's put anything on, he sparred Michael Hunter. I get off the coach, and there's Jake Mescal. It's bad news, he's had a bad cut. As soon as I get there.
Let's talk about the cut then, okay? Because you put a video out and people thought you were trying to get on the back of or piggyback Tyson Fury's situation. How bad was yours? Could it have ever stopped you fighting? And discuss the Tyson Fury cut when you saw that.
Well, the Tyson Fury cut is a completely different scenario to mind. One, because that's for an undisputed heavyweight title, and two, it's on the eye. The problem with my cut was not that if it come open in the fight, no problem. The problem is for 3.5 weeks in the most pivotal stage of the camp, I couldn't spar. And we all know you need to spar as a boxer. You need to spar to get your sharpness, your range, your timing, and that was what was playing on my mind. Being cut was not a problem. The problem was keeping it from the board, not letting the commission see. If the commission see I don't get to fight, I've got 400 people travelling over. They've all paid thousands of pounds to be there. That's a different kind of pressure. And then you've got the pressure of thinking, am I sharp enough? Am I doing this? All these doubts are going in your mind. Everyone gets them as a boxer, but you have to deal with it.
Spencer and I talked about the cut to Tyson Fury earlier. What's your instinct on May the 18th that he's got this time to get ready? Is it enough time?
Yeah, it is enough time. I think he's got to live. The most important thing is just making sure that cut heals. I think he'll be fit enough. It's just you don't want to go back and start sparring again too soon and the cut's not right.
Well, that's the thing, John, that I was mentioning, like the 10 weeks that he's got really up until that fight, and you go, it's got to heal, and he's got to heal that scar tissue still.
It can take a month at least.
Yeah. So you was talking about there the preparation. It's not like the fact that you have to have that sparring, because you've got to get your timing, your distance, your speed, and everything up, because you can only get a certain fitness in training. You need that fight fitness, and sparring does that.
And that's the most.
That was the question I was asking: is it enough time? A fight of that magnitude?
I think so, because I think when I've looked at camps like I've done, I know it's not the level they're at, but I think 6 weeks of rigorous hard sparring and doing that, I think that's enough.
But could he go into hard sparring after 4 weeks? That's what
I mean. I'm just trying to work out the maths in my head now. Is 4 weeks resting, because even now this has been 3.5, 4 weeks, and you can still be soft. You know, like it can still come open if I started sparring again tomorrow.
It's hard. Let's talk about another subject. Francis Ngannou. I'm going to throw this to Big John first of all. Eddie Hearns famously said that Johnny Fisher could handle Francis Ngannou in a round. Discuss, sir.
I think Johnny could handle Francis Ngannou, but not in a round. Give Francis Ngannou more respect than that. But Johnny certainly could fight him. Whether he beat him or not is another thing, but he'd put up a good show.
I respect Francis Ngannou. Yeah. They're going to make a film about his life, and
I'll give him more than a round.
I'm not being disrespectful to him at all, but I think with heavyweights, why not? Why couldn't I knock him out in a round? Well, he could knock me out in a round.
You could possibly knock him out in a round.
Yeah.
There you go. But
he could also, on the other side, he's got a big chance of knocking me out because he can seriously whack.
Okay, but you're not fighting on March the 8th, but I wanted to ask you about it. Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou on March the 8th. I used the word jeopardy with Eddie earlier. He agrees with the word. Is there true jeopardy, gents, for him in that fight?
Of course. But I think the way that he shaped up against Wallin, I know Wallin wasn't the most formidable opponent, but if he picks him apart with true fundamental boxing skills, which Ngannou doesn't have, I think he can make quite easy work of it. And I think that will build that Fury fight quite nicely, because they can say, hang on, we've dealt with him really easily. Let's make that Fury-Joshua fight.
I think AJ, if he's on form, deals with Ngannou quite easily. But that's not taking anything away from Ngannou, but he is a boxing novice, and a former world champion should dismantle a boxing novice. But we said that with Fury,
didn't we?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah. I don't think Fury was as fully prepared as he could have been.
I mean, Fury has got a tendency to do that, hasn't he? When the fights aren't...
Yeah. This man here put the nail into the coffin on what it was. Never got a sharpener, did he?
No, he never got a sharpener, and that's the point, you know. And I think that with AJ going into this one, he now knows what he's going into. That fear factor is there, because Johnny, you will understand
there's data as well.
You need that fear factor to bring the best out to perform.
And there's data on him. There's data on him.
You feel so much better.
What form he has, what shape he keeps.
That my Southern Area fight, because I knew what was bigger. There's more at stake because it's for a title, more people watching. But my level raised because there was a little bit more at stake.
Absolutely, and I think with AJ now, with that momentum off the one in boxing win as well, and wanting to do better obviously than Fury done, I think he goes in there and does a job. I really do, because I think he'll be smart, he'll be educated, but you know, it'll be educated pressure, and he's been active, and I think that sets up a huge year with the heavyweights.
It does.
Little John,
yes,
Big John, thank you very much for coming in the studio. You're off to Portugal tomorrow. Have a lovely time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Big John, where are you next?
I've got a few appearances out all over the country next week: York, Durham, Bristol. And then the end of the month, I'm going to Australia for 4 weeks.
Long may she sail.
Let's hope.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in the studio.
Thank you,
John the Rumble Fisher and Big John Fisher.
Make sure you calm down tonight, mate.
I will. I'm always
no more dancing.
calm.
Yeah, calm down.
Thank you so much.